What's going on? Welcome to episode 11 of The Rondo. Joined as always by my guy Josh Parrish. And Josh, I'm donning Venezia today because I was very impressed by their win against Jose Mourinho's Roma in Serie A.
Yeah.
But before I get into that, because I want to start in Italy today, which is going to be a shock to all of you that we're not starting in Manchester. So suck it. Tell us about the kit real quick.
Oh, Gyeongnam away 2014 from the K-League.
Yeah, you're a storyteller, aren't you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm well travelled,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Because when I asked you to tell us about the kit, you just told me the club and just gave me no other.
It's a long sleeve. It looked good on classic football shirts.
Yeah.
Home
good.
to a couple of Australian players in the past.
Yes, do tell us more.
Nick Ansell played for them for a bit, former Melbourne Victory defender, and heir to the Ansell condom fortune. Not even joking.
Is that real?
Yeah, he offers great protection at the back.
I'm so glad I didn't cut you off because I was about to cut you off with like a no one gives a but that is amazing.
It's an interesting fact, isn't it?
That is an amazing fact.
Some have accused him of not taking football seriously enough
because
he
he's
always
too
had...
busy
No, because he has a backup source of income.
Oh.
And it's always good to have a backup, Ryan.
Yeah, great. Well,
Even if you're already taking, precautions with your career,
yes,
always good to have double protection.
Yeah, but never double up on the
No. Because that can just cause a bit of friction between your two jobs.
Got it. I can't believe that's how this episode has started. We are starting in Italy. I don't want to touch too much on Venezia. I'm a big fan of their kits, and also as a result, have started following them in Italy's top division. Been impressed with Okereke up front. Busio in the middle.
Aramu takes a good penalty.
Amazing. But there was a big game in Italy. Inter versus AC Milan.
The Derby della Madonnina, as they say.
There you go.
Maybe. I don't know. Probably butchered that pronunciation and offended another European country.
You upset Spain last week, so I'm assuming today's Italy.
Yeah.
And look, you showed me something that I thought was amazing in the build-up. Hakan Çalhanoğlu's post in the lead up to the derby, where it was him in an Inter shirt and him in an AC Milan shirt facing himself, which could have been the post of Inception.
Yeah. Or it could have been like Nick Cage and who was in Face Off? John Travolta?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Hakan Çalhanoğlu Face Off. But it was such a narcissistic post. Like everyone was just talking about him in the lead up. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, Milan did let him leave on a free transfer instead of offering him the money he was looking for. Like it was something that maybe Zlatan could have gotten away with, but Hakan...
It's not the same ring thought.
Then again, he did score.
He did
from the penalty spot.
And it was a great game, back and forth, ebb and flows.
Fantastic match. It was a great atmosphere. First one back with fans in Italy quite some time, and they did a big tifo to, honouring all the people that obviously lost their lives in the pandemic because it hit Italy really, really hard, especially in the north of Italy, Milan and Bergamo and all those places. So it was a very emotional build-up, and the match itself was just an absolute firecracker.
Yeah, and look, we will start off with a specific player, Franck Kessié, who in some parts lauded and raved about, other parts not so highly rated. You came in today and wanted to talk specifically about him to start with.
Yeah.
How did he perform in the derby? And then also, how does that impact, obviously, contract ending? Where does he look towards next?
He seems to be undroppable somehow. Stefano Pioli is always set on him. He obviously has physical presence in midfield and can break late into the box and can score goals. And, sometimes those players are quite attractive to coaches because they cover so much ground. But he seems to be keeping players like Ismail Benacer out of the starting lineup. And Milan have continually failed to control games where Kessie starts. Tonali maybe gives a more considered approach on the ball.
Yep.
But consistently, it was Kessie who was the one dropping between the centre-backs to receive possession. Whereas you think Tonali is the guy who's always, maybe falsely, but always compared to Andrea Pirlo. You'd think he would be the one picking up possession deep. And Kessie can be really effective if the other team's sitting off because he'll make these late runs into the box and he'll give you an extra goal-scoring threat. But when the other team presses high, as Inter did very, very effectively, he often makes mistakes under that pressure.
Yeah.
And that was the case when Hakan Çalhanoğlu, the
Yep.
guy who figured the game was all about him, put him under pressure, and Kessie panicked and didn't give up the ball, and he lost it. And the penalty decision was a bit controversial because it kind of looked like Hakan had fouled him first, but nevertheless the penalty was given, the goal was scored. And, Milan didn't really recover in the game until about the 60th or 70th minute when other midfielders came on like Salamakers and Benacer, and suddenly the focus wasn't on Kessie in the build-up play.
Yeah.
So I wonder, with all this Premier League interest in Kessie, with his contract expiring and the big money that he's demanding, whether the English clubs might be overspending on a guy who's a bit limited.
Yep.
And maybe he'll look better in the Premier League, because we know Premier League games are more open.
Yes.
The game's more stretched. You've usually got more space, and those physical box-to-box players, play like Declan Rice, for example, looks really good in those games. And then you take him into an international game where it's a little bit slower pace, and the lines are a little bit more constricted, and he can look really unsure on the ball. So maybe Kessie will look great in the Prem, but I do wonder whether he's worth the vast wage sums being bandied about by the likes of Newcastle, of course, because they're going to have to overspend on anyone.
Yep.
But Tottenham in particular, with Antonio Conte taking over there, he's going to want players from Serie A, players that he knows, and players that can provide a little bit of grunt in the centre of the park where Tottenham are really struggling at the moment. And I think Kessie will be a target, but does he help Tottenham with their failure to create chances and their failure to control games in the centre? I'm not sure that he does. I think he's going to need somebody else alongside him who's more of a creative presence.
But I guess the question is then, if Tottenham and Conte do choose to sign him, is he a step up from the current Tottenham midfield?
I honestly think reincorporating... excuse me.
Don't get
I'm getting very
emotional.
emotional.
You'll be all right.
Very concerned about Tottenham's midfield. It just gets me a little bit choked up.
Yeah.
Reintegrating Tanguy and Ndombele would be my number one priority. But if Conte, like he did against Everton, settles on a 3-4-3, Ndombele's not going to play.
Yeah.
You think back to the Chelsea team that won everything. Kante, Matic. Two real destroyers in different senses. Matic is someone who held his position, and Kante is someone who ran everywhere and pressed everybody. And Ndombele, for all of his qualities, is neither of those players. And Mourinho didn't like him. I don't know if Conte will feel similarly. If he's in a three-man midfield with, say, maybe Højbjerg at the base, and I don't know if Lo Celso fits either into that paradigm. Maybe even Franck Kessie coming in. Then you think Ndombele can be given the license to go forward and the license to play as more of a number 10 and face forwards in that sort of Pogba role at Juventus on the left side of the midfield three, where he excelled. So that would be my number one priority, because playing all these destroyers in the middle of the park, Tottenham have looked really bad and really yuck, and they haven't been able to get the ball to Kane or Son, let alone actually score goals. So their play was pretty stilted against Everton, and they didn't create much with 3-4-3 with Moura and Son playing as the inside forwards. So maybe Conte will rethink things, but I honestly think there is enough there with what he already has to reintegrate Ndombele and maybe find a role for Lo Celso, and then maybe you got a team who can actually keep the ball.
And someone else that featured in the derby, the iconic, divisive Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who, and this is your words, if Zlatan, on the off chance you see this, I would never say this about him, because lions don't recover the same as men. But you said he looked every bit of 40. Your words, not mine.
Yeah.
I think you look great. You think he's past his prime?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't impact the game at all, legitimately. And yes, it was early, and I was sort of a bit sleep deprived and kind of squinting as you do at that hour.
Yep.
But I didn't realise he was on the pitch until the second half. That's how involved he was in the game. And that's not entirely his fault. A lot to do with Milan, how deep they were defending, and how they just couldn't hold the ball for long enough and advance the team high enough to actually incorporate him in the attacking play. But I don't think he should be starting these games.
No.
Milan do not have a number one option up front. There's Giroud, who's also a backup. There's a youngster called Pellegrini, who hasn't played much. You could play Ante Rebic up front, and he's got a lot more pace, but he's a bit limited. I think in these games, and we saw it against Liverpool in the Champions League, Milan can be effective on the break. So against big teams, I think Rebic should probably play at this point. They need a new striker. Rebic should probably start. There wasn't a lot of joined up thinking because they've got Alexis Salamakers, who I think has a bad reputation among Milan fans, unfairly so. You know, he was bought for a very small fee, and you know he was seen as a continuation of like the lack of ambition of the previous managers and ownership. But he's actually very intelligent with his movement off the ball, and Milan always seemed to play better when he was on the pitch because his movement is so good. And his finishing lets him down, unfortunately. But if you're going to start him and start Benacer, then maybe you've got a team who can play higher up the pitch and play more of a possession game. And then Ibrahimovic is more useful because he's in the box for crosses. You can use his first touch. He can play with his back to goal and play simple passes to get players into scoring positions. If you're going to be on the edge of your own penalty area and needing to counterattack quickly to score goals, Ibrahimovic doesn't do anything for you.
No.
And he was a complete passenger in that first half and for probably the first hour. And then the last 20, 30 minutes, Milan completely dominated and their script flipped entirely. And Ibrahimovic looked too gassed to really get to the ball ahead of his centre half or maybe make the difference. And maybe if those roles have been swapped and Rebic starts and Ibrahimovic comes off the bench, then maybe he's fresh enough for the last 20 or 30 minutes on his 40-year-old legs to score the winner. But didn't seem like a lot of joined-up thinking from Stefano Pioli. Ibrahimovic is past his prime. I think there are ways to use him still. But the real problem is that Milan don't have a week in, week out number one option for all opponents, and they have to go horses for courses, and sometimes the coach gets it wrong.
So where did you think then this derby hung in the balance? Where were the kind of the point of tension where the game was kind of won and lost on both sides?
Well, there are just certain moments from Inter where they could have won the game and they just didn't. I mean, Lautaro Martinez had a terrible match in front of goal. He missed lots of chances, including a penalty that was saved. There was a left-back, Paulo Toure, who just struggled ever since he signed, and Teo Hernandez was injured. So he played left-back, and he had a nightmare. You know, even Matteo Darmian was tearing him up. And there's one hilarious patch of play where he gets turned, and he actually turns his back to the ball, trying to chase after it, and he doesn't even know which way the goal is, I don't think. And he ends up conceding the penalty. That was saved by Milan's backup goalkeeper, the Romanian with an impronounceable surname, who made a fantastic save. But yeah, Martinez, if he scores that penalty, it's 2-1, and you know Milan are trailing. They have to risk more and probably Inter win the game. There's several chances in that first half that Inter had to score a goal to put them ahead again. They didn't take it. Stefan de Vrij has developed a unfortunate reputation for scoring goals for the opposition in big matches or making terrible mistakes, and he did that again. Even if Tomori wheeled off taking the credit for the header, it was definitely de Vrij's work. So there were many moments where Inter could have won it. But Milan, I think if they'd been a little bit more ambitious and started with a different lineup, and some of this has been enforced by like rotation, but if maybe they'd rotated players for this fixture and had their, in my opinion, their best first team, which has Benacer and Salamakers in it, then I think they definitely could have won this game and gone 3 points clear at the top of the table. As it is, they're level with Napoli still.
Well, from Milan now to everyone's favourite Manchester.
Yeah, we've suckered you in now.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the Manchester United podcast. I mean, we've got the mugs. So I think we're the mugs, actually.
Yeah, we are the mugs because I stayed up and watched it, I'm not going to lie to you. Watched the entire thing from start to finish. Was I on Instagram for 60 minutes of the night?
You can tell by the number of posts on Ryan's story as to how invested or how interested he actually is in the game. If you're just content creating for an hour and a half, I don't think you watched it.
It was just horrible.
Yep.
At least Liverpool were obvious in their just absolute destruction of us. This was like subtle bullying. Just the passing and the control. They destroyed us from start to finish. And 2-0 does not do that Man City performance justice. And credit where credit
It
is
was
due.
like something in a cartoon where the big villain lifts someone up by the shirt collar and the little guy's arms aren't long enough to reach them.
Yeah. So, did I prepare questions for this segment? No, because what more do you want me to ask? You can go and revisit those clips about Ollie and all them. But is there a more angular human being than Harry Maguire? Because that bloke is like, if a protractor has all the angles, a set square is like the one that's like really like right? Harry Maguire plays like a set square. He moves in 90 degrees elegantly. How is he worth $80 million?
I mean, he should score more headed goals than he does for United, but the ball comes off one of the vertices on his cube head and it flies away.
And I feel bad because everyone roasts him and stuff like that. But you think about that kind of money and the kind of centre backs United could have got as a result. It's rough.
I mean, he didn't ask to be that expensive.
No, and that's fair.
And there's always a tax on English players. People forget about the homegrown player quota that is enforced in England, and also there's the general hype around England internationals.
Yeah,
that causes that kind of money to be spent. But he is Manchester United captain. He's a grim state of affairs. Look, I don't think he really had anything much to do with the result.
No, I wasn't. I was just asking the question: why does he move like a set square? The result itself was just a shocker.
Yeah. He didn't look too great. I think he's been overplayed, but with Varane having the hamstring injury, kind of have to start him. I mean, you've got Eric Bailly in there, who's a bit of a Stefan de Vrij himself. Just like bad things happen to him. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, and bad things happen to Eric Bailly.
I thought he played well in midweek in the Champions League.
Yeah, he did all right.
Yeah, then he scored that own goal.
He was pretty found out on the Ilicic goal in the away leg.
But then here's the thing, right? Now I'm not going to get on Ronaldo, but Bruno Fernandes could have closed down faster for that first goal. Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire could have done better for that second.
This isn't on Bruno either. This is on the manager, and it's also in the way the wing backs are playing in this game, because United have suddenly gone to a back three, back five. It really is a back five. The way they play it, they're all in a line. And against City, they play with really high wingers. So who's marking the wingers? The wing backs.
Yeah.
Then who's marking the fullbacks?
Righto.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to play a back five against City, which Ole has done successfully before.
Yeah. He's got the best record against Guardiola.
He knows as much as anybody that, it's crucial to stop City's wing play, because they play so high and wide and they spread the field really far. And so, João Cancelo is such a creative player from that position, even though he's a right-footed player playing left back. He's still amazing in that role. And there was just no one marking. The wing backs have to play braver and higher. They have to be marking the fullbacks. And depending on which side the ball's on, the right or left-sided central defender has to go and mark the winger. And you have to shift the whole team across and back, and the whole thing has to go from side to side. That's the only way you can play that system against City. And they didn't. They just stayed in their positions.
So bad.
And the fullbacks had the ball unopposed, and then you were just waiting for Bruno to eventually get across. And he's actually marking both fullbacks in his role, because the two central midfielders obviously been told to stay put.
Yeah.
And so you've got two strikers who aren't doing anything defensively, which we've covered before. And it's just Bruno is the fall guy trying to get across.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. One person can't mark two players on opposite sides of the pitch.
Yeah.
So there was so many obvious, just logical faults. But what I will say is that Manchester United have beaten Manchester City 3 times under Ole with Dan James in the starting 11. So in a game like that, Dan James is better than Ronaldo.
Oh my...
What did Ronaldo do in that game? He didn't even touch the ball.
Here we go.
He had one chance, and that was it. Dan James, 3 from 3. Well, that's actually not accurate. It was like 3 from 5. But,
I just want you to repeat that statement one more time, just for anyone that didn't catch it in the back.
If you're going to play on the back foot like that against Man City and just play completely negative and try damage limitation the whole time, having someone like Dan James, who's going to run hard and work hard for the team, is more useful than having Ronaldo standing up front with his hands on his hips waiting for the ball.
All right, give me 1 second.
The other thing I want to say.
Wait. No. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second.
It's just going on the Instagram story, I imagine.
Give me 1 second. We'll edit this out if he doesn't pick up.
Okay.
But it'll be. I just want. Wagwan.
Oh my days! Here we go. We're about to do this.
Yeah. So we're live. We're filming. All
Yeah.
right. And yeah. So yeah, say hi to everyone.
This is the guy always leaving the angry comments.
Okay. So literally, right? Literally, I wasn't trying to do nothing. I wasn't doing nothing for the content or the clicks. This is the one-liner he just hit me with. Dan James is better than Cristiano Ronaldo in the Manchester derby.
My days. The thing is, can I say this in front of the crowd? I'm
Yeah.
a fanboy, and I admit I'm a fanboy. But Josh is a professional, but he's a professional hater as well. There's a difference there. I am a fanboy, but you can't be a hater and a professional. That's all I'm
Hear
saying.
me out, Yaz. Hear me out. Hear me out my argument. Ryan's, quoted me out of context there.
Put the camera back on him.
Back on who?
Your
On
framing
John?
is really bad,
Yeah,
Ryan.
sorry.
There's
Yeah, okay,
no
there you go.
scoping me right now.
Yep.
So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has beaten Manchester City 3 times with Dan James in the starting 11 because they were playing defensive football, playing on the counter-attack, and Dan James works hard and he's got pace in the other direction. If you're not going to change the game plan at all, if that's going to be the same thing that you try, then having Ronaldo is useless compared to having a guy who runs like freight train.
Yeah, but you got Maguire and Shaw that are actually causing the issues, not Ronaldo. I don't know if you watched the game, but
I
they
did
were
watch it.
disastrous.
No, but like the way Ollie's set up, and this is Ollie's fault for not utilizing the players he has at his disposal correctly. But the way they set up is they had 2 strikers not doing any work defensively. They're staying up there. And they had 5 at the back. The left and right centre backs are marking nobody because City only play 1 striker.
Yep.
The wing backs are marking the wingers because they play high and wide. And there's no one marking the fullbacks. And Bruno Fernandes is running left to right, trying to mark both fullbacks across the whole pitch. So, playing those sorts of players is
City are
useless.
going to be a possession team all the time. City will always dominate you on
Yeah,
possession.
exactly. That's why Ronaldo's useless in that fixture because
Yeah, and I think having Ronaldo there pressing would be a waste of talent. You're never going to have Ronaldo pressing in Madrid, in Juventus. You have him there to score the chances. When he gets 2 seconds, he had a volley.
Yeah.
He nearly scored because that's why he's there. He's there to finish.
Yeah, well, maybe you can carry Ronaldo, but you can't carry anybody else defensively. And who started up front with him? Was it Greenwood or Rashford? I can't remember. It was Greenwood, yeah. Greenwood doesn't do anything either. He doesn't defend at all either. So you've got 2 players not doing anything. If you're going to play with Ronaldo up there, he has to be surrounded by people who would do the work for him.
Yeah, it's defensive work, correct.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, we know he's not going to press. That's the same with Messi. Messi isn't a presser.
No, but
No,
wouldn't it be more effective?
No one brought Messi up. No one brought Messi
No,
up.
no one brought him up.
Why are you bringing Messi up? Why are you bringing Messi up? No one's talking about Messi.
Example, because we're talking goats, all right? We're talking goats, so I just thought I'd give you an
So
example.
there you go. That was my argument. Dan James in this fixture would have been more useful than having Ronaldo.
I completely disagree, because I reckon the issue here is not having Ronaldo up there. The issue was having such a poor defensive lineup. You can't say, he beat them before, so they could beat him again. Ronaldo isn't the issue here. I don't think he is.
Well, I walked you through my argument,
You
Yaz.
can't say, like Ryan, you watched the game as well. Shaw not defending that.
Yeah.
You blame Ronaldo for that?
No,
Yeah, but it was just a matter of time. It doesn't matter who the defenders are. If you're going to play on the back foot like that, and you're not going to have every player doing their defensive job, you're going to concede eventually. It doesn't matter.
They conceded 2 goals. One was an own goal, so you can't. Who's to blame there?
Yeah, well, but maybe you can stop the cross coming in if you have 2 players defending that flank.
True, and Bissaka and Shaw are known not to drop back for some reason. Shaw has not.
But they were dropping back. They were all the way back. That was the problem. If you're going to play a back 3.
Shaw's defense. I don't know if you watched Roy Keane's analysis of Maguire and Shaw, but I'm with him 100% because he is. Yeah, he's spot on with everything you said about them.
Yeah, but you saw the game as well. City were toying with them. Like, they would have scored eventually. It doesn't matter about the individual mistakes. Someone's going to make a mistake. If the other team has the ball for that long and they're putting that much pressure on you, you're going to score eventually. It would have, if it wasn't Shaw's mistake, it would have been Maguire, it would have been Baye, it would have been Fred. Like, one of these players is going to make an error eventually with that much pressure on them.
True, but these guys make errors every single game. I kid you not, I've been watching every single game for United this season. Every game Maguire's been super slow. He's still having a bender after the Euros. I'm not sure what he's doing, but Homeboy is, he's cooked. He hasn't done shit since the start of the
Wait,
season.
wait. So before this season, how many United games did you watch?
Before this season.
Yeah. Yeah, shush, man. All right, see you later. Bye.
Little cameo there.
Yeah, so there you go.
I didn't feel like there was like a lot of joined up thinking in his answer. Because one week, like 1 second it's Ollie's fault, the next second it's individual mistakes from the players. It's like everybody else's fault except Ronaldo. I'm not saying it's Ronaldo's fault for not doing what he's asked to do, because clearly Ollie's not asking them to do anything else.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to have either players around him that will make up for his shortfall, or you have to play a completely different style of football. It means you're in control of the game and you don't need your strikers like playing behind the ball.
Yeah. Well, look, that was really fun for me to be a part of.
You're just watching a tennis match there.
It was a stroke of content genius, I might say, to have done that.
I don't know how you're going to edit that down.
We're not.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're not editing that down.
All
That's
right. This
bloody
is going
brilliant.
out raw, is it? All right.
Yeah. So, we're clear on the derby? We're good?
Yeah, Premier League predictions, I
I
think.
enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
Yaz just texted, watch your ratings go up.
Oh, dear.
All right. Premier League.
He's Hakan Çalhanoğlu. He thinks the podcast's all about him.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's
he's
right.
probably right.
It is all about
Yeah.
it.
All right, this
Wait.
is...
Wait.
What?
I got a dub.
Oh, you did?
All right, so I just want to because clearly Josh was playing a different game to me. He thought that every time you get one right, it was a point and it was an ongoing tally. But what I've been doing is whoever got the most right every match week will get a point for that match week.
I wondered why the count was off.
Not off. You were just playing a different game.
So can we have like a goal difference thing? Or?
No, it's just if you got the most
So
right
it doesn't
that
matter
match week,
how many more I get. I just have to beat you.
you just, from week to week, you just have to beat each other week to week.
I feel like he's making up the rules.
I
as
did
he's
not
going
make the rules up.
along
That's what I
to
pictured in the
shrink the tally, because if it was on a points basis per correct tip,
Yeah.
then I would be miles ahead.
No.
Stop the count.
No. Well, I'm storming the capital.
All right.
So you've got 4 match weeks under your belt. I've
Yeah.
had 0. We have 2 that are still yet to be played out because of the FIFA games. And I got my first one because Tottenham Everton, I went for the draw, even though my fiance mocked me because she said, who picks draws? This guy did, and this guy got the point. Tottenham
Yeah.
Everton, big result. It's nice to be 1 point closer to this chair, because as you can hear, it's just not good times on the loser's chair. But I hope that we're all clear now on what we're doing, how it works, so that when I make the biggest sporting comeback of all time, there can be no dispute.
Watch me finish ahead at the end of the season, and then he wins on some sort of technicality.
No, there'll be none of that. Now we're clear on the points.
Okay.
So let's jump into it.
Now we're clear.
Now we're clear.
Leicester versus Chelsea. This is post-international break, by the way. So we got 12 days
Oh, do we?
before this game comes up. So
Is that international break already?
yeah, it's coming
Oh,
up next
bummer.
weekend.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't
That
it?
is a real bummer.
Leicester, Chelsea.
I've gone Chelsea.
I have also gone with Chelsea.
Yes, because they did dominate against Burnley, right? Even though they drew
Yeah.
1-0, but they were.
They should have won that
Yeah.
game. It was silly, but Burnley have a way of scraping out these results. I didn't expect them to get a result away from home, so I would have picked Chelsea anyway. Let's be honest. But XG count 2.3 to 0.8.
This guy and XG and Graham Potter.
Aston Villa versus Brighton. Sorry, I've gone out of order. Brentford versus Newcastle at St James's Park.
I've got Newcastle.
Ooh, new manager.
New manager bounce. They did draw
Is Eddie
against
Howe
Brighton.
even going to be the manager? Do we even know yet?
I don't know. Apparently, there's disputes around backroom staff and all
It's
that
the
kind of
same
thing.
thing at Celtic. I mean, how many staff members does this guy want? That 2 successive clubs is
Like, also, you guys got cash.
yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter. Just pay out.
What's the way? What's the issue?
Yeah.
Um,
You've gone Brentford.
I have gone for Brentford because I'm not sure the manager will be in charge yet, and
Look, and you know I'm big on Brentford
Yeah.
boys, but they did lose
They
against
did.
Norwich. And I feel Newcastle got a bit of good vibes back. So I'm seeing.
Daniel Farker out the door.
Yes. See you later.
Goodbye, Farker.
Okay. Get it all out of your system.
Yeah,
now.
okay.
Good.
Hey, look, it was bad for the brand. They can't be jeopardizing their chances of winning the championship next season. So
They want to be the greatest championship team of all time.
yeah, They're playing
Sometimes
championship
you need
manager.
self-awareness.
Yeah, and this guy coming in here trying to win Premier League games.
Nonsense.
Get out of here. Burnley Palace.
I've gone Crystal Palace.
I've gone with a draw.
How can you? Crystal Palace are on flame.
Yeah, when Eagles soar or whatever.
Worst. Don't watch that documentary.
What about when Clarets
Go on.
thump long balls?
Terrible.
When
And you
when
you broadcast
when
for a living.
Clarets
Surely it has to be
crunch.
faster than that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's better
Hey,
than
people
that.
don't come up with names for award-winning Amazon TV series just off the top of their head.
I hope that series didn't win awards because it was not good.
Yeah.
But what's good is Crystal Palace football right now, and I
Yeah.
think they'll get it done.
I reckon it's going to be a draw. I think the wheels have to come off at some point. I don't think they just keep.
Why
winning
does it
all
have
season.
to? Why are you like that? Why are you a
think-
hater?
Teams regress to the mean. You know, it's just can't.
Alright.
It's not all going to be roses, sunshine and roses forever, Ryan. You got to
Yep.
get used to it. Aston Villa, Brighton. Aston Villa without their beloved Dean Smith,
Dean
who
Smith.
has departed in a tortured euphemism for sacked.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, they posted this 4-minute video that was like, "Thanks for the memories, Dean Smith." And Dean
Because
Smith must
he
be
was-
like,
he
Dean Smith must be like, "You just sacked me. If you were so thankful to me, why didn't you just keep me
I
employed?"
guess so, but they weren't not playing very well, were they?
Yeah, but they just sold their best player ever.
5-game skid.
Yeah.
You know,
Jack Grealish, out of that team, he was their team.
everything did go through him, right?
Yeah,
Set
exactly.
pieces,
so that's
the
going to
play-
be.
yeah.
I mean, obviously they did spend money on the transfers, but you can't expect a team to gel immediately.
Yeah.
I think whoever manages that team, just the players being around each other longer, the new players, they'll get better in the second half of the season.
No, I think that's a fair point.
before
I
the
was shocked to see him go, but I think I've gone for a draw there.
Yeah, I've gone for a Brighton win because I have a thing about Brighton.
Yeah,
I just,
you and the pot man.
yeah, I just like the way they go about things.
Yeah.
They're a little hipster team with a hipster manager.
You have
and,
a weird love affair with them.
I don't know. They
Oh, look,
play 3-4-3. They play it well. It's fun to watch. They create chances.
how's their XG looking?
Actually,
The correct answer, no one gives a fuck.
Okay.
So, yeah, moving on.
Watford, Manchester United.
I can't believe you've done this. I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah.
It upsets me.
Yeah.
I've gone for United.
Dilly ding, dilly dong.
I know, dude.
Watford to win.
I know.
Hey, they play well against Arsenal.
They did, and Ben Foster made a huge penalty save.
Yeah. His GoPro audience will love that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just think United are a trash bag blowing in the wind.
Oh God, and see, yeah. It pains me to go against them. So for the obvious ones, I have to. Like Man City was an obvious one.
Yeah.
When play Liverpool, that kind of stuff, it's obvious. But I'm hoping that against Watford, who are bottom, bottom dwellers is a very intense word. I just realized that's not what I meant at all.
Cellar dwellers.
That's also just as harsh.
Yeah, okay.
Who are struggling in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
I think that the sheer quality itself of United should be able to get it done, even if it's an ill-defined structure.
Then again, Watford are owned by a lower mid-table Serie A club, so Ronaldo will probably feast,
That's it.
as he usually does against the dregs of Serie A.
Yeah, so hopefully that will get me another dub.
Yeah, no, I'm going for Watford just for a
Just
bit of
for
variety's sake. Wolves versus West Ham.
I mean, this is straightforward, right? West Ham.
I mean, they're killing it at the moment.
Are they third, joint third or something?
Yeah, and they're, not even playing half the good players. they've got
Same
in the
points as
squad.
Man City.
I'm hoping that eventually Vlasic will grace the Premier League, but at the moment he can't get a look in, and they're absolutely soaring. They just dominate off set pieces. It's unbelievable. how
They're
good they are.
big. I was watching.
They're big.
They're just
They're
big.
just very large.
They're large guys, and I was watching when Allison flapped at that corner, and he had Ogbonna, Suchek, Zuma, Dawson.
Even
And
Declan Rice.
and it
is a big
reminds
boy.
me of The Office, the American Office season 1, and
Yeah.
I'll clip it for you if you're not familiar with The Office.
the basketball game.
The basketball game where, are you serious?
I'm on it.
Yeah, Michael. Michael's like, you guys have to work Saturday, and then it's like
Yeah.
all three of them just like roll up on him. It looked like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible that you caught that reference.
Hey, there's actually a great video. The Ringer did a full breakdown of the game and like the X's and O's of the
Amazing.
Ringer basketball game.
I love it.
So, you know, bit of cross promotion.
I love that you got. I love that you got it. I love that you got that reference. That's amazing. I'm proud of it.
All right, Southampton versus someone Southampton are playing. Norwich. Norwich at home to Southampton.
Look, I think that even though they got a win, I think it'll kind of just go back to what it.
I mean, they've just got rid of the manager after a win. What do you think that does to the dressing room morale?
100%, and especially after going 20 odd games without a win, it's insane to me that they did that. And I think Southampton are in a good patch of
They're
form.
on a roll. They're defending well. They've been pretty solid, and they've got James Ward-Prowse to just whip free kicks in with ridiculous pace on them.
Yeah.
What have we got? Arsenal versus Liverpool.
I've gone Liverpool.
It's at Anfield.
At Anfield, and I think that home advantage plays into it a lot. Even though Arsenal are on the up, I haven't found their football particularly compelling.
Yeah.
And yeah, Liverpool obviously lost. Have they other than 2-game losing streak? Did they lose last week?
They've lost a couple.
Yeah. So even though that they're on a bit of a skid, I think the quality.
Sorry, they drew against Brighton. I should say they coughed up a 2-0 lead.
That's
Felt
right.
like a loss.
That's right.
Was
That's
a draw.
right. But I think just the sheer quality is going to be too much.
Yeah, I mean Arsenal consistently shown that they're good enough to be 7th. And that's where they are, and they can't seem to beat the top 6. So that's Arsenal at the moment. I don't expect that to suddenly change.
Emil Smith Rowe, though.
Oh yeah,
is
he's
on a different level. So
yeah, he is a real find, and finally he's getting consistent first team football. It was a little belated, I thought, but
Yeah.
he's starring, and it's good to have like a homegrown player come through and be a hero for the supporters. So
to wear the
even if
number
they're not going to win a
10
trophy.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Manchester City, Everton.
This one is
Straightforward, surely.
And also, what's going on at Everton? Just quickly, sidebar.
I don't know, man. I mean, they drew with Spurs.
I mean, they started out the season
It's a
alright.
Rafa Benitez team there. They're kind of hard to beat. There was one crazy game where they conceded 5 against Watford, and Benitez went, no more of that, thank you very much. And they've tightened up recently. I mean, the Wolves result last week, I thought they played okay. But honestly, this Everton side, they just really struggle without Dominic Calvert-Lewin starting up front. And, he's been in and out with injuries. He's been out for a while now. He's not going to be back till late November. Once they get him back as a focal point, I think they'll have a structure to build around, and then Richarlison doesn't have to play as a 9. Then you've got an attack going. But before that, when they started the season, Calvert-Lewin was pretty integral, and having someone that you could just cross the ball to who will score more often than not is a massive asset. So yeah, they're really missing him, I think. It's a bit like West Ham when they were missing Antonio. It's a different proposition entirely.
Yeah.
And then what's the last game with the
Spurs
Rams? Spurs Leeds. Well, it's Antonio Conte's second game. I still don't think he's found the winning formula. I'm going for a draw.
See, this is what happens, Josh, right? Because I called you out last week. I said your picks were safe. You were going for the obvious ones.
And now I've really zagged.
And now you've really changed it up on me. You've really acknowledged the need to spice things up. I'm proud of you.
I did lose when I went for safe.
That's
and
true.
I almost picked West Ham. I was so close.
I've gone Spurs, though. I think they'll have too much for Leeds. Leeds, at this point in time, I don't know what's going on with them either, to be honest. It might be the famous Bielsa fallout time where
everyone is very tired.
Yep, and
they have a game they play in training. Have you heard about this?
Bielsa ball?
Murder ball.
Murder ball, that's the one.
So they have a pitch, it's just 11v11, and it doesn't stop. And it's played at a really high pace and intensity. There's no fouls.
Yeah.
So you can just chop people if you want.
Yeah.
And there are coaches all around basically the pitch.
Yeah.
So every time the ball goes out, they throw a replacement ball back into the mix. So it's basically AFL.
So what's the purpose of that? Fitness?
I think it's just sadism.
Insane.
No, but it's supposed to make training so difficult that the matches by comparison are easy. I think that's the theory. But how long can you put a squad through that?
Yeah.
And at the moment, they've only got one guy in form, and that's Rafinha.
Yeah.
So they've got to rely on him to do something special. Then again, I think they've got more of a game plan and a consistent approach than Spurs do. And I think it's going to take a few weeks for Antonio Conte to work his magic.
I think. All right. Spurs win it.
Yep.
Who's their centre? I'm trying to think of their centre back. Can't think of any of their
Eric
centre-
Dyer,
Nah, that's a bad.
Christian Romero,
No,
Jaffa Tanganga.
no. I think
He's not gonna start.
a Højbjerg strike
Oh,
separates the teams.
okay. Pretty rogue.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this chair back.
I'm gonna say it's 1-1,
Mm.
and it's Heung-min Son with the opener, but Rafinha equalizes in the
With that
79th minute.
wand of the left foot.
Yep.
And that brings us to the end.
Yeah, very
Rondo.
specific prediction at the end there. So
Yeah.
if it comes off, can I get double points?
All right, if our predictions come off,
Yeah.
it's double points for that match week.
Yeah. All right. Nice one.
Amazing. This game is changing.
Oh
This
yeah, we're making up rules as we go along. Bonus round.
So Rondo 11,
Fight.
today's been wild, right?
Yeah.
Yaz made an appearance, the infamous Yaz.
This is what happens when I get up at 6:45 and then record the podcast at 5 p.m.
Hey, I was up at 5:30, Bubba.
Yeah,
so
but you're on that grind.
yes, I am.
I've never worked a day in my life, so
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. I'm a professional hater.
So here's my proposal. Maybe we get you and Yaz in the same room
Oh god.
for an episode.
I think it's dangerous if you can't hang up on him.
But I'll be the mediator, so I have no dog in the race, to be honest with you. Both Ronaldo and United are disappointing me right now, so it doesn't really matter. But we'll just talk things out. Okay, you get the relationship back on an even footing that you feel comfortable with each other. It was a very heated conversation.
Yeah.
You accused him of being, messy in his thoughts.
Yeah, well, Messi's always in his thoughts.
So maybe we try and organize
free,
that.
baby.
Maybe we try and organize that. It's international break next week.
All right.
We can
Could
see
be
how we tee that up.
Josh v. Yaz showdown.
Yeah. We'll do walk-in music, get robes like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder.
Will I sing American Pie when I win the debate?
I hope so. I hope for that.